Welcome everyone to my latest Bandai to Machinations SH Figuarts review, as I have the new Dragon Ball Z Vegeta. This is dubbed as the 24,000 power level. So it's another scouter look of Vegeta. And this one is based on the Namek/Frieza saga. So it's slightly different to the ones we've had previously, which was kind of when he first arrives in the Saiyan saga with Nappa. So for obvious reasons, this Vegeta will look slightly different, and of course the figure will be different as well. So for me personally, very exciting. Of course, the iconic look of a Scouter Vegeta in my collection, since I didn't get the previous ones. And if you're familiar with the SHF line, of course, nothing to really go through in terms of the packaging. Really well presented once again with the shot at the front with all the logos and stickers. Here's a quick look on the sides, and then a look at the bottom and top. And then of course the back, we have the figure in different poses. So no background card, but we do have the instructions for the accessories on the side of the box. And here is the Vegeta figure inside his packaging. So here is a first look at the 24,000 power level Vegeta. First impressions, this looks amazing in terms of the way the colors pop. And it looks like it's jumped straight from the anime without any exaggeration. I guess by now I'm not surprised. Machinations do nail a lot of their characters for their Dragon Ball line by now. And this is such an iconic look. I think Scouter Vegeta is certainly one of them. I know as a kid when I watched Dragon Ball, I wasn't really a fan of the quote-unquote bad guy version of Vegeta. But looking back, I think this one is one of the more iconic looks. So I don't have the previous Scouter Vegeta, but I believe the main difference is that he doesn't have the crotch and thigh guards anymore. This is kind of based in the middle of the Namek saga. And Machinations are probably going to just release all the looks of Vegeta throughout the series. I believe a few days ago they just announced the one when he's fighting Frieza. So he doesn't have the shoulder guards anymore, no Scouter either. But yeah, this one is really good. I'm so glad I picked this up in the collection. And considering it is the first Scouter Vegeta I have, yeah, it's going to be even more exciting. So this one looks pretty good in terms of the build. Of course, the height, I think it's pretty accurate. He's not the tallest guy, and I think they've done it really well. I think the colors really pop on this in terms of the blues, and I think the Scouter, of course, makes the other colors look a lot nicer. And just the way they've sculpted the hairstyle as well, it flows really well. And yeah, this is a really beautiful figure, no doubt. And I'm sure if you already have the previous Scouter Vegeta, you may still want to consider this one. It will have differences in terms of obviously the look, but some of the face expressions that are in the box look amazing as well. So let me bring in the other Vegeta I have in the collection, which is of course the Super Saiyan version from the Cell saga. And obviously this is slightly different, and the build is different as well. Will be interesting to see some of these head sculpts onto that Super Saiyan, because we're still waiting for a base form version, albeit the hairstyle is slightly different, but we'll try that later on. But as you can see, this is kind of a quick comparison. So yeah, in terms of my first impressions, I really like this Scouter Vegeta. Very iconic look, no doubt. So let's go through some of the accessories, and then of course we'll do the articulation. So let's first take a look at the different hand accessories. So right out of the packaging, it is pretty standard with those trusted fisted hands. So for the first set of alternative hands, we have the open palms, which can be used for a variety of poses, whether it's the chopping fighting pose or stopping a blaster. And then we get the wide open palms, which is for his own blaster hands. And for the fourth and final set, we have a pair of grappler hands, which can be used for a variety of poses. And looking on the back of the box, they can be put together for some iconic poses. Next up, let's take a look at the head sculpt. So this is the one right out of the box. So it does have some sort of expression, which is kind of like a grinning look. And as you can see, all the details with the Scouter. So it does include 3 sets of alternative faces, which can be swapped out with or without the Scouter as well, which I'm going to show you. So you can actually remove the Scouter on the side. So once you pinch it out, there is a replacement ear on one of the other faces, which I will show you. But this is the first look without the Scouter. So here we have the first alternative faceplate placed on, and as you can see, this one has a slightly different expression, which has more of a smile showing the teeth. And of course we can remove the ear and place the Scouter on. So there automatically we have another facial expression. The next faceplate is also another good look of Vegeta. This time it's more of an angry look, so more of the gritted teeth shown. And once again we can replace the ear. So by the way, you only have one ear for all 4 head sculpts. And of course only one scouter, so there you have it. And here is the 4th and final faceplate, which I think is probably the best one in terms of how animated this one looks. And this is something we've never seen before for a Vegeta figure. This is some crazy expression, and no doubt this looks amazing if you pair it up with some other figures in some fighting poses. And yeah, it looks like it's jumped straight from the anime. And of course, once again, you can try it with the scouter look. So 4 face plates, 2 different looks, so that gives him 8 different expressions. And whilst we're on the subject of the different face sculpts, let's try this head sculpt on the previous Super Saiyan Vegeta. Of course, we all do want a base form version, which hopefully will arrive at some point. So this is the look of the original head sculpt. And let's see if it fits, because it's not always the case. And it does actually click on, surprisingly. And this looks pretty amazing as well. Albeit I believe Vegeta may have a different look in terms of the hairstyle. But let me just zoom in, you can see you finally have a base form Vegeta as well, which could be an alternative. So yeah, this looks pretty cool, and extra points for this. And just for fun, here is the Super Saiyan look of Vegeta placed on the body of this figure. This is kind of a what if moment, of course, if he did turn Super Saiyan at that time. And for the final accessory, we do have a set of folded arms for Vegeta, which is a very trademark look for him. And we have seen this accessory in previous Vegeta figures. Of course, you just saw it with the Super Saiyan. So I'm going to test it out, and pretty much you just have to remove the 2 arms and place them on. So here is the folded arms accessory placed onto the figure, and this just gives another trademark look for Vegeta for an extra display option. So now let's test out the articulation, so the movement of the figure. So let's start off with the head sculpt as usual, so it can turn left and right, no problems. You can see the neck also moves with it, and it can rotate round and round, 360 spin if you want. And there's good rotation downwards and upwards as well. Definitely good movement. Of course the neck does kind of turn with it, so you've got to put it back in place. And then we can test out the arms. So I noticed these shoulder pads are actually movable, and I'm going to try taking them off as well to give them that extra look, but let's test out the arms first. So you can go side to side, no problems. And of course rotation front and backwards, some sort of limitation since we do have these pads. And good rotation on the biceps, of course. And then we have the armband. Then there should be rotation on the actual hand, and also good hinge as well. And then for the body, obviously he has the armor on, but it is separated into 2 pieces. It is a relatively small figure, so just be careful. So there's good rotation. Side to side you're not going to see much, and it's the same with the front and backwards motion. And then for the actual waist, you can turn it side to side. I'm just being very careful since it's a new figure, and not much side to side. And in terms of the actual ab crunch, you're not going to get a lot either, so it's mostly just a rotation. And then for the legs, of course they split forward, backwards, good rotation. And then we also have the bend, goes all the way back, which is always good. And then we also have the rotation, which I've done already. And then we have the shoes, so rotation and side to side, and there is a toe hinge as you can see with the joint. So that's the articulation. So we can remove these shoulder pads, albeit it does have a weird look on the back, but it is an option if you want kind of that Cell Saga Vegeta later on. Obviously it does look a bit weird without them, but that is an option. So now for the size comparison, starting off with the SE Figuarts futures of himself, the Super Saiyan Vegeta, as well as his future son, the boy from the future, Trunks. Here it is next to the SE Figuarts base form Goku, as well as Krillin. Next to an SE Figuarts Kid Gohan and the 4th form Frieza. And here it is next to the SE Figuarts legendary Super Saiyan Goku, which is no doubt one of my favourites in the collection, and this Vegeta is not far behind, and a recent Super Saiyan God Goku. And here's the comparison next to a Marvel Legends Spider-Man from the animated series, and a Jada Toys Fei Long from the Street Fighter line. So now for my final thoughts on the SE Figuarts 24,000 power level Vegeta. This is amazing, to put it simply, taking into consideration it is my first Scout of Vegeta, and it's one of the more iconic looks represented right here. The look is on point. I really like how well the colours pop. The face sculpts are all great. We have 8 displays if you count it with and without the Scouter on. There is a variety of hands, there's the folded arms. The crazy animated face sculpts takes this to another level. What more can you really ask for? And as a bonus, we can also put this head sculpt on a Super Saiyan Vegeta. And we can even cheat a little bit by removing his shoulder pads for another look. And this is almost the complete package. I don't know if you already have a Scout of Vegeta, if this will bring you as much joy and excitement to pose around with, but certainly it is very difficult to pass on. I say it's one of my favorites. I don't have the biggest Dragon Ball line, but it's certainly a great figure. Maybe the articulation could be done a bit better, and there's always room for improvements, like adding some effects. But my score is a solid 8.5 out of 10. I genuinely like this figure, and at first I wanted to limit my collection and maybe get some of the other characters, but after picking this up I have zero regrets. So comment your thoughts. Do you think it's worth getting if you already have the previous Scout of Vegetas, or you're going to wait for some of the other looks later on? Also check out my recent Super Saiyan God SH Figuarts review. It's a new pickup, and stay tuned as I have more SH Figuarts coming your way. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you very soon.